So the affirmative team brought up numerous ideas as to why we should ban homework in extracurricular and elective classes. However, we as a negative team are going to show numerous reasons why everything that the affirmative said might not be as great as it sounds. First off, they talked about inherency, or what's going on right now, and we have two responses on this flow. First off being that we have little homework going on right now in the status quo, and this is from Anderson in 2016. This piece of evidence talks about how there's actually not that much homework in extracurricular classes, or overall, it's been going down over years. The government has studies on this. Our next piece of evidence talks about how homework in extracurriculars, but overall specifically, is actually decreasing, and this comes from the Skoglund clan in 2010. Other studies have shown that over the years, homework has actually been decreasing as new technological advancements allow students to learn more on their own as they have more available to them. So both of these pieces of evidence simply just prove that there isn't as much homework as the affirmative would make you believe. Next off on the harms debate, they outline a lot of reasons as to why homework in extracurriculars is bad, but we have two responses. The first off being that you can group their first two arguments that they read, and our piece of evidence from Ingalls in 2020 isolates that homework is allowing us to learn how to deal with stress now instead of later. This piece of evidence would talk about it is better for high school students to gradually learn how to deal with stress throughout high school, so later in life, throughout the workplace, family dynamics, and living in the real world, they don't have to have these cultural shocks of, oh no, now I actually have to do things. Our second response is in direct response to their third point that says homework is decreasing our relationship. But this evidence from Thompson in 2011 outlines that we can actually bond with friends and family as parents help us with homework and through study groups in order to get homework done. Next off on solvency, they'd like to make you believe that they solve for all the problems they outline. However, we have three responses. The first being in direct response to their sub-point 1 that they increase college prep. However, out of a 7-period day, 4 out of 7 classes are core classes, so the amount of homework eliminated is actually not that much. On their second point, how they reduce stress, however, if you have multiple curricular activities going on, like they talk about needing to do 15 at a time, you're still going to be very stressed as you balance your school and also all these extracurricular activities. And this piece of evidence comes from Michie in 2013. This piece of evidence talks about how more activities you're involved in, the higher stress you're going to have. And lastly, on their third point, if you recall our piece of Thompson and 11 evidence we read on the harms debate that talks about how homework actually increases relations, so we don't actually need the app to solve for this. And lastly, on their advantage, we have three responses, all in direct response to the pieces of evidence they read. On their first piece of evidence, how they increase academic advancement, without homework, students don't actually have academic incentive to do academic work. This comes from Obama in 2009. This talks specifically about how students need some sort of incentive to do academic work, and that is homework. Without that, they're not going to focus on school. Secondly, the affirmative team likes to say they increase confidence in an organization. However, doing well on homework increases our confidence in an organization. When you get an A on a homework assignment, it shows that it boosts your confidence knowing that you can do well, and it proves that you are organized because you can keep everything together in order to have the success. And lastly, their third piece of evidence talks about how they increase extracurricular activities and time for them. However, the affirmative plan doesn't actually outline or promise that people are actually going to do them or that there will be creation for any extracurricular activities. For all of these reasons, you can see that there really is no reason to vote affirmative.